Welcome to the Ambassador Arena. My name is Nantia Smith, and I manage the Young Scholar Ambassador Program at the Davidson Institute. Our graduating ambassadors have the opportunity to be spotlighted in the arena. They've worked hard over the past 18 months to develop and successfully implement their projects. Each ambassador has put together a short video to share their project with you, and afterward, they share some inspiring and encouraging words of advice in my interview with them. Today's presenter is Class of 2022 Ambassador Nathan. He is the founder of coronacentral.us, which aims to develop an information center to update teens on COVID vaccine news and educate them on the fundamentals of vaccine development. Enjoy his presentation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nathan Yap. I'm 14, and I'm from North Potomac, Maryland. I'm part of the 2022 cohort, and my project is coronacentral.us, a teen info center for COVID-19 vaccination. So at the start of my project, many months of quarantine had passed, and schools, businesses, and life altogether had been shut down. Many teens had reported mental fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and desire to get their pre-pandemic normal life back as their primary concern. But despite widespread mandatory public laws requiring the use of masks and social distancing, the United States had recorded countless mass outbreaks, many due to new variant spread. It became increasingly clear that the only way to end this pandemic is by mass vaccination of the global population, including the 328 plus million US residents. After many anxious months waiting for the clinical trial results, in December 2020, the FDA granted Emergency Use Authorization, or EUA, for two highly effective COVID-19 vaccinations, which had around a 95% efficacy rate. These were manufactured by Pfizer for 16 years and older and Moderna for 18 years and older. Although there were plans to conduct a clinical trial for the 12 to 15-year-old age group, no COVID vaccine was expected to be authorized before May 2021. And both Pfizer and Moderna vaccines were developed based on a novel mRNA technology that had never before received FDA approval. So there was less clarity in its long-term safety effects. Given all of the complexity, teens wanted to be informed if, when, and which vaccine they should take to obtain the desired immune response without the undesired side effects. Finding updated and reliable information about the pros and cons of the competing vaccines in development was difficult. And to make matters even worse, the pandemic was very politicized. Seemingly, there were two versions of the truth. On one end of the spectrum, there were the liberal-leaning media, and on the other end, the conservative-leaning. Sometimes the same event, for example, an interview of Dr. Fauci, was described in competing narratives that backed the position of one political party over the other. This made vaccine news extremely confusing for teens. With more vaccination campaigns being rolled out, teens needed to have up-to-date, reliable, and science-based information to guide their vaccination decisions. So given the disparity between the desperate need for information and the lack of sources, I saw the need to become a provider of vaccine news for my community. I envisioned creating an info center as a go-to source of updated vaccine development news and to educate teens in the fundamentals of vaccine development, which combined provide an effective tool for teens in making vaccination decisions. The idea was hatched in the summer of 2020, when I participated in the virtual learning experiences that the Davidson Institute offered to young scholar families, including a happiness class that taught the PERMA-V model, specifically the importance of engagement, relationship, and meaning in giving back to the community. Giving back to the community as a form of emotional self-care took on a special meaning for me in those days of chaos, sadness, and uncertainty with the pandemic. Whereas pre-pandemic, I was volunteering because it was a fun way to meet new friends. During COVID, I wanted to do it because it brought me some measure of emotional relief and satisfaction. I hope that, at least in a small way, the Teen Info Center could expedite vaccinations and help the country reach herd immunity faster. So currently, around 66% of all Americans and 59% of teens are fully vaccinated. Herd immunity generally occurs at 70 to 85%. In the fall of 2020, I started out by founding a biotech club in my old school, Davidson Academy Online. The club's teen audience received regular updates on vaccine development through bi-weekly meetings and postings. In December 2020, when the clinical trials for the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines were completed, I also started publishing vaccine newsletters. These contain information from multiple reliable sources, such as major newspapers, scientific journals, official statements and documents, and company press releases, to provide news that was as accurate and objective as possible. It was distributed to over 5,000 young scholars and their families through the Davidson Wednesday Post. From vaccine newsletters, I eventually transitioned to writing about COVID news articles on my website and made sure that they were in understandable and teen-friendly terms. I also plan to start reading scientific journal publications and summarizing them, as these can be especially difficult for teens to digest. They're dense, intimidating, hard to understand, and hard to access, but hopefully I can help mitigate that and expose them to teens. All of my previous vaccine newsletters, as well as various other resources, are posted on the site. This is a screenshot of my website showing a couple of recently written articles. For my project, I distributed informational flyers at county events to teens. The flyers contained content such as recent variants, vaccine updates and trivia, and school-county mask mandate changes. The teens I reached out to included many minorities who are historically more vaccine hesitant because of the medical community's mistreatment in the past. For example, the Tuskegee syphilis study, which involved analyzing the effects of purposely untreated syphilis in Black men. How has the ambassador program helped me? Well, first of all, I received tremendous support from my advisor, Mrs. Smith, in the form of ideas, guidance, and most importantly, accountability in meeting goals and deadlines. Without her, my project would not have been possible. The numerous seminars train ambassadors with crucial project skills, such as goal setting, self-advocacy, and social networking, to name a few, and also allow ambassadors to prepare mission statements and action item lists. My ambassador cohort is super supportive as well. They can give very useful advice at think tanks if you ever need anything, and it's just a really fun community to be a part of. Thank you for listening.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce Nathan. Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
Thank you for being here today. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for sharing your journey in creating Corona Central US. So you created your project during one of the most unique times in the world, right? And there were so many unknowns at that point, and the information was just ever changing, right? For example, vaccines are good. No, they're not. Yes, we should wear masks. No, they're not good. They don't help. Right?
Yeah.
You've done such a great job weeding through all of that information and delivering it in a way that young people can understand, right? And you're sharing accurate and reliable information from credible sources. And that's kind of the point of your project.
Mhm.
But I wanted to point something out that you mentioned in your presentation that really stood out to me. You mentioned that pre-pandemic, you were volunteering to meet new friends, meet new people. But during the pandemic, you created this project as a means of emotional relief and satisfaction for yourself. It was almost like an outlet, right? And although you've grown your project to what it is today, but in the beginning, it was just a small thing that you could do to feel like you're helping others, right? Given the situation at the time. And I think that is such a wonderful example of how truly feeling connected to your ambassador project can really be key to your success, right? And you'll always be reminded of your why for your project. And I think that's so important. So thank you for demonstrating that.
Yeah, thank you.
So you started out with a newsletter, right? And we're in the beginning, we were brainstorming places where you could share your newsletter. And you started the Biotech Club at the Davidson Academy online. You create this amazing website that has so much information, and you're consistently adding new articles and new information to it. You've handed out flyers in your community to raise awareness. You've worked so hard to get all this information out there. What is your call to action for the audience?
Thank you. Well, my call to action to the teens watching this is, if you're not already, please get vaccinated. We can help the nation reach herd immunity faster if we really take vaccination seriously. If you are already vaccinated and boosted, share my website and encourage other teens you know to get vaccinated. It could be your friends, family, neighbors, anyone there. We've been in this pandemic for over 2 years, and I know we all want to have our normal lives back. This is the best thing you can do to get back to normal as fast as possible. Also, many schools and businesses have lifted mask mandates, but if you're comfortable, please consider masking to protect you and those around you who may or may not have been vaccinated. It would also be helpful to get COVID tested on a regular basis. If you test positive, of course, please stay home.
All right, great. Such a great message. And through the whole process of creating and growing your project, what skills have you gained and how can you use them in the future?
Well, through the seminars, I have gained tons of project management skills that I could immediately utilize for my project. I've gained lots of experience in public speaking and presenting, such as past panels, monthly meetings, and what I'm doing right now. And I've also learned to work expeditiously to meet deadlines and milestones. On the more technical side, I've picked up website development and scientific article writing. I've read many pieces from renowned newspapers and journals, such as the New York Times or Stat, analyzed that information, and then communicated it in teen-friendly language. And all of these skills will benefit me in my future endeavors.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen so much growth in you, not just personally, but, your project as well. So thinking about your experience over the past 18 months, what has given you the most confidence?
I think what's given me the most confidence was doing something actually helpful and productive for my community during critical situations where lives can change dramatically, and in a time where the current circumstances are constantly updating. So being someone that guides others gives me the motivation to keep working on my project, even when I face challenges. Personally, I enjoy publishing articles on my website that I know will be read by teens. I'm also more confident communicating with and educating people.
Perfect, perfect. And then lastly, there's one question I've been asking all ambassadors, and that is, What advice can you share with young people who have a passion to help others, but they don't know where to start?
Well, first, I would say to find a project that you are uniquely interested in. From there, start small and break down tasks. If you already have this passion to help others, you have one important step already done. It also might be helpful to outline your ideas and brainstorm before deciding on what to do. Even if your initial plans don't seem very impactful, you might end up helping someone anyway. For example, the idea for my project started with founding a biotech club at my old school. And in our first meeting, the club only had a few members, but I kept reaching out to more students, and by the end of the year, membership had increased dramatically. Also, don't be afraid to reach out to people for partnership, if that's what's needed. I know it can be a little daunting to contact someone you don't know to collaborate, but just go ahead and do it. There isn't anything bad that can happen if they don't reply to you or can't collaborate with you, but there is an opportunity to earn yourself a potential. And lastly, make it fun. For me, it was fun going to county fairs and talking about vaccines to other teenagers that I didn't know. The project may seem long and get difficult at times, but just remember your motivation and why you wanted to start in the first.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much for that advice. I think that's was really important, like what you said, starting with your passion, right? And again, that gives you your internal motivation, your why. Why are you doing this? And that's going to give you, kind of the gas to keep going when things don't go your way, or you come up, on an obstacle or something. And the other thing that two things that you've said that have been consistent with other ambassadors is to start small. Right? Whatever your passion is, start small, start somewhere. And then also asking for help when you need it. Because again, like with these types of projects, you can't do it alone, right? You do need help from other people, and it's okay to ask for help. Great. Thank you so much. And Ethan, thank you for sharing your journey with us and your insights with us. If anyone's watching who has questions for you or want to learn more about your project, where can they best reach you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at any time at nathanyap8@gmail.com.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the ambassador program and for having the courage to do what you do. You are such a positive role model for so many young students. And thank you for keeping everybody informed too about this crazy world of ours.
Yeah.
All right, so please reach out to Nathan directly with any questions about his project. If you have any questions about the ambassador program, please reach out to ysap@davidsongifted.org. That's YSAP. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.